Hello, my little darklings. The world is coming apart at the seams. We've got monsters, mummies, and rockstar mysteries next on the Paranormal 60 News. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to your home away from home, the only place you need to go for the news worth hearing. And ladies and gentlemen, joining me now from across the world and around this nation, we've got the Paranormal 60 News crew. I'm your anchor, Dave Schrader. Also joining us, the one, the only, America's greatest hero, the Colonel.
Happy Friday, Dave, and it's great to see you.
Good to see you, Mark.
Yeah.
That did not seem like you meant it at all. Great to see you.
Well, I was anticipating my drink, so had to get that out in order to be able to take the drink. So
I see. That's a sign that you might have a drinking problem. Speaking of drinking problems, ladies and gentlemen, the man desperately in need of a liver transplant, the one, the only, Chachi.
How did I know I was up next?
Nice. What, this sale space for rent?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I missed the last show, so
Right.
I didn't feel that I should have somebody else's hashtag if I didn't participate.
Oh,
So
that's
I put the generic on here for this week.
very
My hope
good.
is we walk away with 2 or 3 to choose from this week.
Well,
You'll have
looking
some
at
for me.
headlines. Yeah, we definitely have got a couple
I don't
options
think I'll
coming our
disappoint. I
way.
will not disappoint.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the fourth and most integral part of this component is here. He is quick off the roads, where he has been undoubtedly saving kittens from trees, old ladies from potholes, and probably people from getting cheated from not enough McNuggets in their Happy Meal. Ladies and gentlemen, the paranormal detective, Greg Lawson.
That was weird. That was weird. But you know what? I'm glad to be back. I feel like I've been away forever. We missed our first Friday last weekend. Look at you. What are you doing? Is that peanut butter stuff?
It's peanut butter stuff. What do you mean we missed our last Friday? That's not true.
That was the
missed
first
many
time.
Fridays.
Well, no, we do it. We haven't just, I think it was the first time that you had to do a rerun. So we were all busy last weekend.
No, I've actually run special edition episodes in the past. Welcome to the show. Glad you could be aware of what we do and how we do it around here.
Like 3 or 4 weeks ago, he said he was finally going to start trying.
Yeah, right.
He meant from this point forward, there's no
right,
commitment to go back and revisit the old way.
Whatever happened to the
Send him
integral
the memo.
part of this
Let him
whole
get
thing?
up to speed. Come on.
The 3 of us were still
Jeez,
here.
I was busy, man. I was in Jefferson with Blind Dog. Yep.
Blind Dog, I know. I saw video. So while you were doing your talks, Blind Dog was jamming and singing a little Paranormal 60 music.
Yeah.
He's got a CD coming out. We're going to be talking to him. I'm going to have Blind Dog on to talk about it. And I want him to be here when we introduce. He wrote this beautiful song inspired by my personal experiences, and then says, "Oh, I can't believe you want to play that. I don't really feel it's very paranormal." I'm like, Are you blind?
Dog?
I said, of course it's paranormal. Listen to your damn song. He's like the Greg of the music world. Not even aware of his own song.
What?
The Greg of the music world with talent.
And y'all don't understand.
We did play your song a few weeks ago, though, Greg.
I don't know anything about that.
Great, bro.
Yeah. Let's get started, because we got a lot of news and an exciting interview. Believe it or not, Hollywood trusted me to talk to a big shot. We get to show it tonight.
No.
It's true. Playing with fire.
That is playing with fire. Speaking of playing with fire, Chachi, you're up first, sir. What have we got going in the world of paranormal and supernatural news?
Oh, this is a good one. Greg, you're going to want to listen up to this one, okay?
Okay, here I am.
Here we go.
I came in with a bunch of energy and stuff, and now it's like pretty much
For
We'll let you
anyone
take a
watching
breath during this.
kicked it right out of
Anyone
me.
watching at home, try not to emulate Greg's energy if you ever need
We are-
to, okay?
We are
5
5
minutes worth of
minutes
energy.
in. 5 minutes in, and he's
He's
spent.
Exhausted.
I feel like I had somebody hit my solar plexus of my desire. Just,
I'd like to see a
Solar
photograph of that, Greg.
Hashtag solar plexus of
Please
desire.
write that down.
Look,
That's
I gotta
that's
grab
a
a
great
pen
album.
here. Hold
Please
on.
write that down.
Solar plexus of, was it your desire or of desire?
just, you know,
Desire in
who
general.
cares? How's
Solar
that?
plexus of desire.
there you
Wow.
go.
5 minutes in. That's great. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All
I'm
right.
gonna have to work out to have a bigger
All right.
chest. to fit
Are we
that on there,
done?
but I will.
Here,
Here we go.
here's to the solar plexus of desire.
Solar plexus of desire. Here we go.
Mhm.
Mm.
All right, Eric,
Jameson orange, right?
take it.
Here we go.
Catholic exorcist warns people about the Holy Spirit board that allows the devil to disguise himself as God. Look at there on the screen.
Wow. Oh, I
A
like that.
Catholic exorcist is sounding the alarm, warning against a seemingly innocent game that may have evil intent.
Wow.
Father Ernesto Caro, an exorcist in the
I'm drinking to that.
Wow.
An exorcist in the dial.
Hey, man.
And the Ronnie James Dio. No, in the diocese.
Were you just speaking tongues? That's a
7
sign
minutes.
that Christ is with us.
That's right.
I didn't want to mention it. It might
Oh,
turn
it's
some
7
people
minutes
off.
in.
The Diocese of Monterrey, Mexico, appeared on the
Yes.
EWTN News Nightly recently, where he voiced his concerns about a game known as the Holy Spirit Board. Per Amazon, my North Star, the board allows users to speak directly to the big man upstairs himself, G-O-double-D, who'll communicate through the board
No,
to
no, 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 no. He's the one and only G-O-double-D.
who'll communicate through the board to answer all of life's most important questions.
Really?
However, Caro says this game is nothing more than a disguised Ouija board.
What?
Wow.
It's not a game. It's a trap from the devil, he explained.
It's a
Jeez.
it's a trap from the
He's-
devil.
He
Yeah.
says the comments are indicative of people falling for the quote trap, as many claims the Holy Spirit spoke to them through the colorful board. The board's packaging is decorated with an image of Jesus himself. Though the description on Amazon is similar to that of Ouija boards, several of which are listed in the frequently bought together section. The Holy Spirit board also includes a magic cross planchette that allegedly slides across the letters to spell the messages from God. Most classic Ouija boards feature a similar tool, usually in the shape of a triangle, seemingly used to speak with the people in the afterlife. Caro says there is nothing more than a way for evil spirits to enter the lives of unsuspecting buyers. If the Ouija board triangle is moving by itself, be careful. It's not God.
What?
It's the devil. Oh, yeah.
Get out of here.
The advertising for this one takes the cake, though. This is the advertising.
Okay.
Here we go. The Holy Spirit Board is the only spirit board designed to directly contact our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Unlike other spirit boards that are often used to contact ghosts and demons, this is a one-way ticket straight to the heavens. Try it today and discover a new way to pray. That's
I
why
like
we
that.
pray.
Good marketing.
Jesus. I like that Jesus has upgraded his profile picture. He's aged finally
Yeah.
from
I always
young,
wondered
nubile, brown bearded Jesus
like
to
85-year-old
Yeah.
pissed off
Yeah.
Jesus.
yeah.
Hold
He
on.
looks pretty angry.
I kind of like young new.
Well, I'm on Amazon right now, and they're $29.95. I can get my delivery.
Don't buy
on
it.
Wednesday.
Do not buy it, Greg.
Do it, Greg. You ain't afraid. The devil
Ooh,
schmevel.
there's a
Your wife left you
secret
her credit
Hitler
card, do
game
it.
too. Have you
No.
seen the secret
No.
Hitler game?
Let's not. No.
Yep,
No.
Different
Uh,
story, different
Colonel,
show.
Please help us out. We need to get away from this
Yeah.
quickly. What is our what's our next tale?
Well, you know, me and Eric were talking today, and I
Were
thought
ya?
I would continue on with the theme of the Catholic Church.
Okay.
And I found a pretty
Wow.
good article. Catholic Church claims to have seen a really, really cool miracle.
Ooh.
A Roman Catholic priest claims his
Catholic
church,
priest?
Roman
yeah,
Catholic
back it up.
priest.
Roaming?
Roman Catholic
Roaming
priest. Yeah.
Catholic priest.
No,
Roaming.
Roman Catholic priest. Come on now. Claims his church in Connecticut was the scene of a miracle that saw Eucharistic host multiply last month. The Reverend Joseph Crowley was concluding Mass at St. Thomas Church in Thomaston on March the 5th when he announced that the Eucharistic minister saw the host, communion wafers, mysteriously multiply
What was that?
while
first
he
time?
Did
was
he say cumin wafers?
communion wafers. I said
Uh-huh.
communion.
Delicious.
Something's
Yeah.
wrong with my mic, apparently.
Yeah.
Somebody
The
else
guy
is
sitting
speaking
behind it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because it's a used NASA mic.
Communion wafers, sir,
Uh-huh.
mysteriously multiplied while he was
What?
handing them to his congregation. What
Yeah.
happened is our Lord multiplied himself, Crowley said, according to the outlet. Crowley became emotional when he told parishioners about the alleged miraculous multiplication of the host, which Catholics believe becomes the body of Jesus Christ. It's really, really cool when God does these things. And it's really, really cool when we realize what he's done. And it just happened today, the priest continued. Very powerful, very awesome, very real, very shocking, but also it happens. And today it happened.
Wow.
They're running out of host wafers, and all of a sudden more were there. So today, not only did we have the miracle of the Eucharist.
Look at that.
Yeah.
We're running out of wafers.
Look at that. Look at
then,
that.
Poof.
Thank you for showing the picture that I sent you. Yeah.
Those are like those things that are on the beach. What are those called?
Sand dollars.
Sand
Sand
dollars.
dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We also had a bigger miracle. It's
Little
pretty cool, the
sandies.
priest said. Shana Pia, a parishioner at the church.
I'm not
That's
even
her
gonna
name,
question that
Shana
one.
Pia.
Nope.
Spell
Uh-huh.
it.
No,
P-I-A.
you did good, Marty.
Yeah.
I have
A
confidence
parishioner
in it.
at the church described the reported miracle as so beautiful. God
Oh.
has been working so many miracles in our lives lately, Pia said. The Archdiocese of Hartford is reportedly investigating the reported miracle, which is a process that could last as long as 2 weeks and require forensic analysis. Depending on the investigation's finding, the Vatican may have to be notified. There have been 4 approved Eucharistic miracles in the 21st century, according to the Magius Center. Incidents including 3 consecrated hosts that appeared to bleed and a 4th that reportedly took on the face of Jesus. So
You said
Very
Eucharistic
good.
4 times correct.
I know. I thought this is the word that is going to just destroy
I literally had my
Marty.
pen and paper.
Ah, he's-
Here we go.
he's
Here goes
Catholic.
my
I
word.
was an altar boy.
Yeah, he's
forever.
Catholic.
Yeah.
Doesn't
So last
mean
year,
much,
actually. Yeah. I
You're
think,
Mexican too and can't speak Spanish, so don't throw that at me.
Wow,
hey,
dude.
no.
Too soon.
Yeah, too soon. Yeah.
Oh,
All right, detective,
Oh,
take us on the next
really?
step of this journey. Would
here
you?
I go. All right, here we
Oh.
go. A man
go, here we go.
describes what it's like to briefly die. I was separate from my body, he said. Look at that. He was.
Is
He
it
was
just
like
me,
watching.
or for those of you watching the image, does that look like the Godfather of the Paranormal, John Zaffis performing CPR?
performing, yeah.
That it
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the
squeeze-
catcher, the ump for the game, is ready to call it a home.
He's dead. He's dead.
Yeah. Mhm.
Squeezed him right out of there.
Yeah.
There was peace about Kevin Hill as he watched himself die. And it's the memory he now has after doctors resurrected him and turned his death into a near-death experience, or also called NDE, for those of you who didn't know that.
Yeah, you know
I
me.
knew I was bleeding. I knew it was serious, he tells the Mirror. The staff kept coming in and out to stop the bleeding. I knew I had died. I was separate from my body, he says. Mhm. That's how the memory ends, with the current reality of him being quite alive. I just went to sleep and I woke up alive and the bleeding had stopped, he said. I knew it wasn't my time to die. Hill, 55, from Derbyshire in England, has a disease that eats away
Let's,
at his
I'm going to call it.
skin.
I'm going to call it time out there.
Derbyshire?
Derbyshire.
Derbyshire. Jesus.
Here's the Derbyshire.
Yeah, this is Middle Earth, Greg. Derbyshire.
Derbyshire. We live in the
Derbyshire.
Derbyshire, and we have
Although when
little,
you say Derbyshire, it kind of sounds like a Swedish chef is saying it, doesn't it?
we have little
Derby-
hats.
Derbyshire.
Derbyshire. I live in the
Yeah.
Derbyshire. We all wear
Mhm,
little
Derby.
hats. Anyway, what's more disturbing about this than the actually near-death experience is that he has a disease that eats away at his skin. And I know this is why Dave gave me this story.
Uh-huh.
Calciphylaxis.
Is
Very
that what a
nice.
man wears when he's going to have
Calciphylaxis.
relations?
No,
Isn't that they
is
sang in Mary
prophylactic.
Poppins?
Prophylactic.
Wouldn't he sing a song like
That was supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Oh,
Super-
okay.
yeah.
I got
Even though the
confused.
sound
Sorry.
of it is something quite atrocious.
How would
Ah.
you wear that?
It's Derbyshire. You put it on. All right.
It's Derbyshire. Derbyshire.
Derbyshire.
All right.
Hashtag Derbyshire.
His rotting skin grew so intense in 2022, he started bleeding and his heart stopped. And because of the blood loss, before the doctors could actually revive him, I wasn't looking down at my body, Hill says about the event, but I was separate from my body. It was like I was in the spirit realm. I was conscious of what was going on, but had so much peace, he said. Maybe the NDE stories sound
Sound
far-fetched to you,
Yep.
but scientists say the events definitely do occur. The experts just aren't entirely sure how or why. Reacher,
Reach a what?
Reacher. Love that show on Amazon.
researchers, especially
researcher.
especially
researchers.
those in the
Oh,
International Association for Near-Death Studies, believe NDEs most likely happen due to a change of blood flow in the brain during sudden life-threatening events like a heart attack, blunt trauma, or even shock. As your brain starts losing blood and oxygen, the electrical activity within the brain begins to power down. Like a town that loses power, one neighborhood at a time. The local regions of the brain go offline one after another, one expert told Scientific American. During a NDE, your mind is left keeping working, but without its normal operational parameters. Whether simply an oxygen shortage or some sort of anesthesia or neurochemical response to trauma, a hypothesized NDE leaves those experiencing it with some real and sometimes very detailed memories. Everyone said I should be dead, Hill said. Instead, it was an NDE. Dun, dun,
Looking at the x-ray of his head, he
Wow.
probably should have been dead. Look at
Should
that.
have been dead.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh,
Yeah, NDE.
What a way to go. Oh, could you imagine your skin is just basically melting off?
Yeah, the NDE is not that interesting. I think, rotting skin condition is much more interesting.
Come on. I still have half a martini glass to go here. Let's not
That's
get
true.
into all the gross stuff here.
Hey guys, listen to this. This was like in the Washington news. This was on many different news cycles popping
Washington?
up. Washington, yeah.
Washington.
Bent nails at a Roman burial site form magical barrier. How to keep dead from rising. That's how. Let's take a look at what they're
Look at
doing.
that.
Archaeologists excavating an early Roman imperial tomb in Turkey have uncovered evidence of unusual funerary practices. Instead of the typical method of being cremated on a funeral pyre and the remains relocated to a final resting place, these burnt remains had been left in place and covered in brick tiles, and then a layer of lime. Finally, several dozen bent and twisted nails, some with their heads pinched off, had been scattered around the burn site. The archaeologists suggest that this is evidence of magical thinking, specifically an attempt to prevent the deceased from rising from the grave to haunt the living, according to a recent paper that was published in the journal Antiquity. Now, perhaps the best known examples of this kind of superstitious funerary practice are the so-called vampire burials that occasionally pop up at archaeological sites around the world. In the early 1990s, children playing in Connecticut stumbled upon the 19th century remains of a middle-aged man identified only by the initials JB55. spelled out in brass tacks on his coffin. His skull and femurs were neatly arranged in the shape of a skull and crossbones, leading archaeologists to conclude that the man had been a suspected vampire by his community. They have since found a likely identification for JB55 and reconstructed what the man may have actually looked like. Then, in 2018, archaeologists discovered the skeleton of a 10-year-old child in an ancient Roman site in Italy, with a rock carefully placed in its mouth. This suggests those who buried the child, who probably died of malaria during a deadly 5th century outbreak, feared that it might rise from the dead, spreading the disease to those who survived. Locals are calling it the vampire of Lugano. And last year, archaeologists uncovered an unusual example of people using the tips in the only the tips in the 17th century Polish cemetery near Bragstach. A female skeleton buried with I almost said a pickle. She was buried with a sickle, different thing, placed across her neck, as well as a padlock on her big toe of her left foot.
Yep.
Now, the latest find is part of research in a project done by Coup Levon in Belgium to excavate a specific area of the Sagalosis site in southwest Turkey. The scattered nails were found at roughly rectangular patch of burnt soil, the remains of a funeral pyre, complete with charcoal fragments of pine and tar, as well as burnt human bones. There were also several artifacts around with the burnt remains, a coin dating from the 2nd century CE, a handful of ceramic vessels from the 1st century CE, 2 blown glass urns, and an item made of worked bone with bronze hinges whose purpose is still unknown. This is evidence that the mourners seem to follow at least some of the traditional funeral rites. It's the 41 broken and bent nails, 25 bent at a 90-degree angle, that with the heads pinched off, 16 bent and twisted, otherwise whole, recovered from the site, that set this cremation apart. These were not coffin nails, which are usually found intact, and nails weren't used in the construction of the funeral pyre. So the authors concluded that the broken nails had been deliberately scattered about the burial site to form what's known as a magical barrier. The nails were either meant to protect the deceased from evil in the afterlife or to prevent the dead from harming the living in some way. In this case, the combination of nails and bricks designed to restrain the dead with the sealing effect of the lime strongly implies a fear of the restless dead. Regardless of whether the cause was traumatic, mysterious, or potentially the result of a contagious illness or punishment, it appears to have left the dead intent on retaliation and the living fearful of the deceased's return. How about that?
Wow.
There's a lot of words in that one.
I was
a lot of
going to
words.
mention that I did write down the word magical barrier. I something spoke to me. It felt like something I've heard Greg mention before about someone having a magical barrier he was unable to pass through.
Wow.
Do you remember that story, Greg?
Do you want to elaborate on that, Greg? No? Okay.
It's not the Kling brothers. They apparently allow him around them all the time. No magical barrier at all.
No, there's no magical barrier.
Magical barrier there.
We don't need that.
Hey, guys, this is really exciting. Last night, I got a chance to see a sneak preview of the brand new horror thriller comedy called Renfield. Have you guys seen the trailer for this?
I've heard about it.
Oh,
really, really cool. The concept is it's current day. Dracula still walks amongst us, as does his familiar, the lovable and humble Renfield, whose job it is to do all the dirty work for Dracula during day hours so that Dracula can feast and have fun at night. Yeah. And they've done it with a humorous slant. But I'll tell you what, this movie is great. Chris McKay is the director. And today, a little earlier today, I got to sit down and this is what he had to say.
Wow.
Hi, everybody. Dave Schrader here with the Paranormal 60, sitting down with director Chris McKay to talk about the new movie, Renfield. Now, coming off of the Tomorrow War, Lego movie, Lego Batman, are you finally hoping for a successful movie, Chris?
Yes, hopefully this one will be the one that'll squeak past, squeak up into the top of the box office. Yes.
Boy, you have got a great pedigree of movies behind you, fantastic storytelling abilities, and you bring it out with Renfield. I got to tell you, I'm a vampire fan, I'm a Dracula fan. Although there's a lot of hit and misses out there, you definitely hit with this movie. This has got such a great quality, nods to the original movies, and taking it into a new generation. Why do you think Dracula is such a wealth and font of entertainment that people continue to go back to that well?
Yeah, I mean, Dracula is a character that, we're fascinated with vampires, that the idea of eternal life, the kind of the romanticism and the sort of, the kind of, sexuality of the vampire has always been very intriguing. Charismatic. Bela Lugosi was very charismatic, and, women were, falling for him. Christopher Lee, Frank Langella.
You don't have to tell me, Chris. I've been rocking the Nosferatu look for 15 years.
but we love those versions of Dracula also because they are we feel sorry for them, and that's the great trick that the Universal Monsters did, is you really do care about these characters, and Dracula can't help who he is, and they're he's very seductive, but he's also kind of you can't help who he is, and so it was kind of sad. They can't have a normal life, and so I think that's why I think I've always been kind of drawn to Dracula as this kind of anti-hero character.
I think you did a great job of really, again, giving acknowledgement to the Christopher Lee and Bela Lugosi movies. This almost felt like it could have been a great sequel to the original Bela Lugosi Dracula.
Yeah.
With the original scenes that you put in the movie, were those reshot, or were you using clever CGI editing to add Nicholas Hoult and Nick Cage to those original film prints?
Yeah, we basically took the high resolution scan of the Todd Browning movie, erased Bela Lugosi, and put Nicolas Cage and Nick Hoult into, for instance, the giant staircase in Dracula's castle with a giant spider web behind it and all that kind of thing. And so, yeah, it's sort of like Forrest Gump, I guess, a little bit, where you kind of compositing Tom Hanks into archival footage.
Well, it's a great I guess a great way to take characters that people are familiar with, kind of shake up the world, put them back into a perspective that we're all used to now, and seeing how somebody like Renfield would have to deal with his kind of oppressive boss. Yeah. And Nick Cage, man, it's like he was born to play Dracula. I've seen so many different roles this guy has done, but he master and commands this role in a sense of, there are times he is channeling Bela Lugosi. There are times he's got that tilted Christopher Lee vampire look. You had to just be thrilled to see these angles coming out from both Nicolas Cage and Nick Hoult, the way that they embodied and emboldened these characters in the 21st century.
Yeah, I mean, Cage has always wanted to play Dracula. I think that's one of his dream roles, and weirdly, he does look like Bela Lugosi and Christopher Lee. The first time we saw the costume test and makeup test, and it was just it was just uncanny how much he felt like both of those guys, kind of a weird hybrid of both of those characters, both those actors, and but at the same time kind of made it his own, just with his he brought his father's voice. He was using his father was a literature professor and had this very kind of mid-Atlantic accent, and so he's bringing his father's voice into this, who was a character that loomed large over Cage as a young man, and showed him Nosferatu when he was like 5 years old, and Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which explains a lot about how Nick Cage sees acting and the shapes that he makes with his body and things like that. So there was by synthesizing things from the past, and at the same time kind of finding our own the boss from hell version of Dracula, a guy who as described in the script, is kind of like a rock and roll lead singer version of Dracula. That we kind of found a sweet spot that really felt, for me, honored both the past and kind of what we were doing with it, with with our sort of take on it.
All I'm going to say is please save the Marvel Dark Universe. You need to step in and take over the Werewolf by Night and Dracula and all of the great stories.
Yeah.
Renfield opens April 14th. Chris McKay, another fantastic movie. And thank you for salvaging an amazing character and bringing them into the new world.
Oh, it's nice of you to say that. Thank you very much. Thank you. It's good talking to you.
Mr. Renfield, welcome. I am Dracula. You will make a very good assistant.
No, he's evil. We will protect you.
You have the word of the most trusted institution on earth, the Catholic Church. Renfield, your sole purpose in life is to serve me. Now, let's eat.
I just want a normal life again.
God bless you, Mr. Renfield.
Oh, God bless you, nuns.
You're a hero.
Robert Montague Renfield. Let me explain. I work for Dracula.
Count Dracula?
It's the real Dracula!
Some call me the Dark One. Others, the Lord of Death.
So you bring in people to eat?
Well, I do other stuff.
Like what? Wash his cape?
No, the cape is dry clean only, strictly.
Yeah, I will wear this fly, yeah.
I don't think he's such a bad guy. But you're never really going to be free until you face him.
I will no longer tolerate abuse. I deserve happiness.
Let me explain something to you, okay? You deserve only suffering. I will unleash an army of death. Everyone you care about will suffer because you betrayed me.
We have to stop him before sunset. I am enough. I deserve happiness, and I take full charge of my life tonight.
You know when something crazy happens and someone's like, it's okay, I've seen way worse. Everything I saw you do today is going to be my way worse.
It's my least favorite part of the job.
This movie is great. Guys, I can't tell you. It is such a great combination of horror, and it almost has a Marvel superhero vibe to it. The special effects are great. The nods to Bela Lugosi, Christopher Lee, even like kind of the Hammer film, the gore factor of the Hammer films, really well done throughout. And it wasn't just lip service to Mr. McKay. This movie felt like it could have been an updated sequel to the original Todd Browning, Bela Lugosi Dracula. So I loved it. I would say on a scale of 1 to 5 phantoms, I give this a solid 4 3/4 phantoms. That's where I sit on this movie. It opens up nationwide next Friday, April 14th.
Nicolas Cage looked like he was having a lot of fun.
Oh yeah, and you see it. And you know,
Yeah.
his quirkiness fits this character so well. His over the top acting in some of the movies that he's done in the past, he pulls it in at the right points, allows that full blown crazy out when it needs to be, and then tucks it back in for some really intense dark moments as Dracula. And Nicholas Hoult, who I've loved since he was a young actor, you know, he was in one of my favorite movies, About a Boy, with Hugh Grant. He has quickly become kind of the new 21st century Hugh Grant. He's this floppy-haired, affable, sweet English guy who you root for throughout the entire movie. Really well done. I give this, like I said, 4 3/4 phantoms. The only reason it's not a perfect 5 phantoms is I wasn't in it as the Nosferatu version.
I knew exactly that's where you were going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
As you should.
makes sense.
So yeah, so that's where I stand on it. It was exciting, great opportunity to talk to Chris McKay today, and I want to thank Universal Pictures for allowing me that opportunity. That's 2 pretty big directors. I got to talk to Jason Blum from Blumhouse Productions, and now Chris McKay. And again, what a pedigree, guys! The Lego Movie, the Lego Batman movie, and the Tomorrow War. All remarkably good flicks. And to
So-
come into this one, boom.
To hit the trifecta, do you think the third interview will be with Scorsese?
Oh, no doubt.
Yeah.
And by no doubt, I mean no doubt.
No,
That'll never happen.
Never going to happen. Yeah.
No, I'm full of doubt on all of that. Hey, guys, the movie does take place for the better part of it in New Orleans.
Oh,
And
No.
New Orleans has got a
I
lot of
feel a
magic in its
tie-in.
stake.
Mhm.
I'm going to be in New Orleans later this year, and I'd love for you guys, you, the viewers, the listeners of the Paranormal 60, to join
When?
me in New Orleans. I'm going to be out there. We've got all the information at darknessevents.com. That's darknessevents.com. We are going to go in search of ghostesses, vampires, werewolves. That's right, the Rougarou, which is not
Rougarou.
just Australian for beer. It is going to be an amazing time, haunted locations, plus we get to hang out with Bloody Mary Milan. She is going to be our tour guide for part of this, and we're going to get to see crypts, haunted houses, and more. If you want to join me and find out more about it, check out darknessevents.com.
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 Haunted Magazine is a publication dedicated to all things paranormal and spooky. Each issue features articles, interviews, and stories about ghosts, hauntings, and other unexplained phenomena. The magazine also covers topics such as cryptozoology, UFOs, and other aspects of the supernatural. Expect to find in-depth investigations of haunted locations, first-hand accounts of ghostly encounters, and reports of paranormal events and attractions. The magazine also includes features on the latest ghost hunting technology and techniques, as well as tips for those looking to search the supernatural on their own. Issue 37, The Frights of Spring, will be in stores from March 6th. So remember, don't be normal. Be paranormal, and order your copy today.
Hey, the brand new Paranormal 60 protection and energy bracelets are out and available right now. You can go to paranormal60.com. That's paranormal60.com. Click on the shop. You'll find the links and information there. Beautiful bracelets. Two different styles are out for 2023. One includes the blessed Saint Benedict medals, some of the most powerful religious amulets for warding off evil and negativity. For those of you that would like the bracelet without the religious connotations, we've replaced those with hematite so that you can get the same beautiful black obsidian along with moonstone and hematite for all of the grounding, protection, and healing you could ever ask for. Check it out, the Paranormal 60 protection and energy bracelets, by going again to paranormal60.com. Click on the shop, scroll down the page. You'll find all of the great swag we have there, or just email me about it. They're only $40 a piece, plus $7.95 shipping and handling. We'd love for you to show your support for the best in paranormal programming. Get your Paranormal 60 protection and energy bracelet now.
Join us for this amazing paranormal conference that's being held in a haunted school in Glen Beulah, Wisconsin. Haunted Midwest Ghost Tours presents Great Lakes Paranormal Conference on September 22nd through the 24th, 2023. We have some great speakers with Jason Hawes, Adam Berry, Sherry D. Benedetti, Lyle Blackburn, Shane Pittman, Sarah Lemos, Dave Schrader, Jeff Bellinger, along with Wisconsin's very own Chad Lewis, and many more will make this one of Wisconsin's most talked about events. We have over 40 vendors and nighttime investigations at various haunted locations with special guests. Get your tickets now at GreatLakesParanormalConference.com and find us on Facebook under the same name. Choose from VIP, General 3-Day, and Day Pass. Again, that's GreatLakesParanormalConference.com.
Believe it or not, May is almost here, which means it's time for Parapsychon 4. at Ohio State Reformatory, the real Shawshank Prison. I'd love for you to join me along with Daniel Class and Christopher Booth. We've got Andrea Perrin is going to be on hand. The Ghost Brothers will be there. Aaron Sagers, the real life ghost whisperer, Mary Ann Winkowski will be there. Shane Pittman and myself, Dave Schrader from the Holzer Files, and the Ghosts of Devil's Perch. We're all going to be there. That takes place May 19th through the 21st. There are only a handful of tickets left for the weekend. There may only be a few of the Ghost Hunt tickets left available. You can get more information at parapsychon.com. Parapsychon.com. Or if it's easier, just go check out over at my website, darknessevents.com, and you'll be able to keep up with all the great locations and fantastic places you can see me at this year. Let's bring the team back. The Colonel, the Detective, and the Chachi are all here.
The Chachi.
Yeah, this space for rent. How much if people just want to rent out to have like their own paranormal team listed on there, or their paranormal product, or just like a message to their mother? What's the cost, Chachi, and how do they reach out to you?
Dave, a couple weeks ago, I thought during a binge drinking evening of this show that I would make an offer to people if they wanted to have my bushmeat on their shirt.
Yes.
That backfired when I received a abrupt text from Mr. Schrader explaining please don't do that anymore. I appreciate it, but you don't have the shirts. So to get the bushmeat to the shirt man to get to the end of the line, it's quite a
logistic challenges.
So for those of you that did order it, you're the only ones that are going to have the shirt that has #bushmeat on it. I think there were 3 or 4 of them that went through. That's it. Because it is a nightmare.
And it's all my fault.
Call me.
What's nice is if you
I'll
would
get you
like
some
something like on my shirt like you have here, we don't have to go through the middleman, Dave Schrader. Right?
No. Right.
They can send their request to you.
Yes.
All you need to do is just forward it to me.
Making me the middleman again.
But it's a different kind of middleman.
But you go through the middleman.
It's a logistical middleman that's not a nightmare. But I like your idea there because although we've got 5 different hashtags out of the first 4 stories, I would like to start maybe promoting some folks that have been so good to us on the show.
Well, thanks, man. Thank you.
No, he said good.
Wait, good. Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Keyword.
Go ahead, Eric.
If you want me to wear an Eeyore shirt, I'd be happy to, Greg. So, listen, can I throw this out there, Dave?
Please.
Okay. If you would like Chachi to wear your saying on his shirt, a simple email to Dave at
paranormal60.com.
.com, .net, .biz,
No, just Dave at paranormal60.com.
Okay.
Mud dog.
And I will pick the funniest, relatively clean, maybe with an innuendo.
Okay.
For next week. How's that sound?
Great.
Yeah.
I like it. And then you'll wear it on the show. Will you then, afterwards, will you take the shirt off and mail it to the winner?
Or I could keep the shirt on and wear it to their house.
Wow. See, again, you're making big promises.
Those are huge promises.
Yes. I will mail it out via Dave's postage meter to
postage meter. Smells like English leather.
All right. Can we see Dave?
Yeah. See how much
I've gone too far again.
Left in the Jameson bottle this time. I know last time you were giving us kind of updates. No, the other Jameson bottle.
The Jameson bottle was empty. So I grabbed the Glenlivet bottle about 4:30 this afternoon, 5 o'clock.
And it's gone.
And it's gone now.
Screwball empty.
Screwball empty.
Davey, no happy. No more screwball. All right. We've got a story.
Did we get fans to send in bottles of liquor?
No, we can't. But if you come see us in Austin, Texas,
that's right.
Bring them all.
Load it.
GalaxyCon.
Bring it on.
All right.
For more information, darknessevents.com. Find out about GalaxyCon Austin, and we'll all be there. All right. Chachi's got a story. This one he's been excited to share with us all week. Let's get to it.
I was excited to share, and then I thought to myself, what if this hits too close to home for some of the listeners?
Yeah.
I am just going to read this with
Okay.
with no preconceived notions of how our listeners
Mhm.
act in their personal lives.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right,
Mhm.
here we go.
All right.
A Peru man
Mhm.
was caught with a mummy girlfriend.
Yeah.
So in Peru, which those folks are known as Peruvians, I don't know if you knew that, Dave.
Mm.
A 26-year-old man has been arrested. I don't understand why. After his quote girlfriend was found in a cooler bag he had brought to an archaeological site to show off to his friends. His quote girlfriend was an 800-year-old mummy of a 45-year-old.
Every man in Peru has been spotted by police carrying an ancient mummy inside his cooler bag. Police located a man acting drunk at an ancient archaeological site in the southeastern city of Puno. They searched his cooler bag and found the remains, bandaged in the fetal position. The man says he'd been sharing his room with Juanita, whom he has likened to as a kind of spiritual girlfriend. Experts say the mummified male would have been no older than 45 years old and is believed to have died between 600 and 800 years ago. It's believed the man wanted to show off the remains to his friends. Okay.
You know, it's
Is it just fair?
amazing,
Was that guy
Eric.
super smarmy?
Yeah.
Super.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
He
So-
slowly and deliberately told that story.
Oh, painful. Yes, Martin?
And those people listening on the podcast think that Eric just developed an Australian accent in a matter of like milliseconds there.
No, that
With
was the original news clip I had to show from the English news station. What is it? Sky TV. That guy's
Mr.
just
Snarky.
the disdain dripping off his tongue as he
Yeah.
tells the story.
We heard that. Yeah.
Ugh, gross. All right, continue on, Eric.
Is it just me, or are you uncomfortable with the position in this mummy is in?
Well, wouldn't you be in the same position knowing what Julio has been doing?
Well, here we go. Yep.
Yeah.
The extreme May-December relationship was discovered in the picturesque city.
Discovered, you say?
This is a Deborah.
I'm speaking Scottish.
Yes,
Oh.
you are.
It was
Uh-huh.
discovered in the picturesque city of Puno on the shores of Lake
Puno.
Titicaca in southern Peru.
I love that.
I think I've heard that like an Adam Sandler movie. I didn't know that was a
Yes.
real place.
Oh, that's a real deal.
Yeah.
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 Where police questioned the man who was drinking with friends at the archaeological park. Julio Cesar Bermejo, is that how you say it, Marty?
Exactly, sir.
Said the ancient relic, whom he called Juanita, sleeps in his bedroom. There's my bed, the TV set, and next to it, there's Juanita.
Love.
He told a group of reporters at the site where he was arrested. I take care of it. Oh, I don't like the pronoun used there. I take care of it. It's like, if you pardon the expression, as if we were together in a spiritual girlfriend kind of way. He said his father brought Juanita home over 30 years ago.
His father.
Bad news, said the Ministry of Culture. It's not a Juanita.
Wrong answer.
It's not a Juanita. It's a Juan.
It's a Juanito. It's a
Explaining the
Juanito.
mummy was a male and at least 45 years old.
Yeah.
So I took her to my crib, and everything went well as planned. But when she got undressed, it was a big old mess. Shayna was a man.
Juanita was a man.
Was a man. Yeah.
Juanito.
All right.
Juanito.
Well, quick side note here, guys, in the story.
What, there's more?
Oh, this is the uncomfortable part.
Okay.
Earlier was not uncomfortable.
Right, right.
So the cooler bag that our friend Julio touted his girlfriend in,
Uh-huh.
well, it was also used by him for his day job, which was, wait for it here, folks.
No.
He performed local food deliveries.
Yeah.
I love this photo. It looks like Juanita's leaning out like, hey.
Hey, guess who's coming inside?
Gross. Oh, don't say
Now.
that.
Too soon. Listen,
Yes.
here comes the part that I wasn't sure I could read, but it's part of the story. And as a journalist, I have to, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, this is my Walter Cronkite moment.
Yes.
Oh boy.
An online poster who trolled him mercilessly. I'm going to read that again if you don't mind. Yeah,
please.
An online poster going by the name Miss Connie Lingus.
Greg's head is going to blow off his shoulders. Okay.
Trolled him mercilessly after the revelation. But guys,
what?
Let's not be hard on poor Julio, as he wasn't the first man to the fall for the allure of Juanita.
Juanita, Juanita, lovely dear Juanita. From your head down to your feet, there's nothing half so sweet as Juanita. Juanita, lovely dear Juanita.
Look at her. Oh, Barney, you say the
Look at her
sweetest
face.
thing.
Look at her mouth.
Yeah,
it's a him.
Stop looking at
we
her
don't know
mouth.
that.
Wait. Is it just me, or is Juan missing some teeth in the front there?
This isn't Deliverance, man.
Are you sure? Because it looks like he uses that bag to deliver.
Deliver.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank
That
you.
was good, Greg.
That's why I'm the host. Yeah. Way to set it up. Speaking of setting it up, Marty, you've got a story to share with us.
Here comes Marty.
Let's go.
Here comes
Where
Marty.
are we going next?
I'm going to go on mute.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Great.
Get your drinks ready.
Experts use AI to analyze iconic 1967 Patterson-Gimlin Bigfoot film. For more than 50 years, one piece of Bigfoot footage has stood out among all the others, the Patterson-Gimlin film. Shot on October 20th, 1967 in Northern California, the Patterson-Gimlin film has probably been analyzed more than any other Bigfoot footage ever taken. It was taken by two men, Roger Patterson and Robert Gimlin, along Bluff Creek in Del Norte County on the Six Rivers National Forest. While the scientific community has mostly ignored the Patterson-Gimlin film, it has been far from ignored. Numerous attempts have been made to debunk it over the past 5 decades, and still, no one has been able to dispute its authenticity with 100% certainty. In 2016, Outside wrote 16.
All of a sudden, he's in Tennessee.
That there 2016. Y'all.
I'm just doing the Del Norte County accent for y'all.
Oh,
yes, it.
Please let there be someone from Del Norte County in the show tonight, please.
That's it. In 2016, Outside wrote about Robert Gimlin and Roger Patterson's encounter with Bigfoot.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I remember that episode.
I remember that. The final 59.5-second film, which the men would airmail back home to be developed, would soon become the world-famous Patterson-Gimlin film, arguably one of the most scrutinized pieces of video footage ever made. It is the cryptozoological equivalent to the Kennedy assassination.
Yeah, let's try cryptozoological.
Did I say tripno?
It is cryptozoological.
What did you say?
Cryptozoological.
That's it. Exactly
you are
what
correct.
I said,
That's
gentlemen.
exactly what you said.
I can't fit that on a shirt.
Cryptozoological.
Yes. Which happens to be equivalent to the Kennedy assassination Zapruder film. The film met immediately criticisms accusing Patterson and Gimlin of being master pranksters who simply filmed a man in an ape suit and laid fake footprints in the mud. That doesn't look fake to me, gentlemen. I'm sorry.
It's really good. Yeah,
it does. Now, after hundreds of other reported Bigfoot sightings in countries all over the world, some dating back to the 19th century, experts have been able to use AI and computer vision to stabilize the key footage from the Patterson-Gimlin film. Does it finally solve the mystery of the iconic footage that put Bigfoot on the map? I can understand why they don't believe it, because I didn't believe it either. Gimlin recalled telling John Green, a prominent Canadian Bigfoot researcher, in his interview with Outside, "But I saw one, and I know what I saw, and I know it wasn't a man in a suit. It couldn't have been." Unfortunately, even after the AI analysis, we still can't confirm or deny with 100% certainty whether the Patterson-Gimlin film was real or a hoax. But boy, that's some really stable footage there now.
Some stable footage, yep. Hey, for what it's worth, Blind Dog will be doing a Bigfoot song.
Yeah. Excellent. We can't wait to hear it, Blind Dog.
And guess who is going to be on it?
God, I hope it's
Blind Dog.
Yeah.
Both of you?
And Bob Gimlin.
Really?
Stand by. Yes, sir.
I thought you
bigger. Damn!
Yes,
I've got some actual audio.
What?
I've got interviews with Bob Gimlin where he burps throughout the entire interview.
Oh, that might be better. But do you have the rights to those?
Wow.
Okay, then.
I do. Wow. I have all the Bob Gimlin burps you could want.
Greg said he was going to start trying tonight. I think he might actually be trying.
Let's see. Let's give him a chance because he's up with the next story. So we can't prove Bigfoot.
We
can't prove that Bigfoot's alive, but this is one that I know has fascinated Greg for a while.
It has.
Is it women's anatomy?
That too.
I said fascinates, not confounds.
Oh.
No.
So nobody knows the identity of this terrifying beast that killed hundreds of people in 1700s France. The province of Jovadan in France is one of the most terrorized areas from a predator so fearsome and deadly that it claimed over 100 lives and sparked widespread. I said widespread.
Widespread.
Widespread panic amongst the population.
It's great. Wow. We got a snort out of the host, everybody. Oh, my Lord.
Hey, man. Dave Schrader.
You know that Cinco de Mayo is coming up when this is happening.
Yes, it is,
ready.
Good old widespread.
I got the next 6 months of shirts. This is great.
Yes.
Hey.
Sorry.
Let's go. Back
The
to
elusive creature known as the Beast of Jovadan. And is identified still by remains unknown to this day. It was described as a wolf-like and distinctly canine creature with features just like a dog or a wolf or something like that, but much larger in size, closer
like a dog or a wolf or like something.
Or a horse.
Like an elephant or something.
That's what it says. Closer to a cow or a horse in size. I think those are the perfect pictures right there. That's real stuff from the real times of the Beast of Jovadan and when they were killing stuff. It was often reported to be a tawny or russet color, but with a white heart-shaped pattern on its chest. The beast's preferred targets were young women and children. And
that's worse than me with
ambushing. All right, I'm going to slow down now.
Okay.
Please,
ambushing them to drag them away into surrounding forest. The creature would often attack its victims by biting their necks or heads and inflicting severe injuries that frequently proved fatal. In many cases, the beast seemed to kill for fun rather than for sustenance, and it would often leave its prey uneaten or only partially consumed. In response to the wave of terror caused by the beast, the King of France sent a succession of hunter parties to the region to capture or kill the creature. These expeditions consisted of the finest hunters and trackers in France and were equipped with the latest weapons and technology available at the time. They focused on hunting wolves, but were unable to get the attacks to cease on humans. A replacement wolf hunter was sent to eventually kill a 6-foot long wolf and declared the terror over. But guess what?
It wasn't.
The attacks continued.
It was not
Much like a fairy tale, it was a peasant that came along and finally succeeded in saving the kingdom from the Beast of Jovadan. Local authorities accredited the modest hunter's success with prayer and allegedly a special bullet of silver, possibly melted from a religious artifact associated with the Virgin Mary. Despite the fervent public interest in the Beast of Jovadan, the autopsy performed on the creature's remains were ultimately inconclusive. The beast's body had already begun to decompose by the time it was examined, making it difficult to determine its true identity. Skeptics have assumed that the Beast of Jovadan may have been a wolf infected with rabies or Jesus.
Just read. All you have to do is read.
Virus,
Words.
which
Read
could
the words.
explain
It's like, wait,
the
what do I say
vicious
here?
ferocity
Whatever's on the
of the
paper.
attacks, and is known to cause violent aggression toward the guy that's trying to read and making him feel bad about himself. Prior to the development of a vaccine, rabies was a significant public health concern and established. It killed tens of thousands of people there. That's
Yeah.
Hey, can I just say,
doesn't Beast of Jovadan sound like a cologne from the 80s?
Yes.
Hey,
right next to
I
Bruce.
wore that with
Dave,
Drakkar
Dave,
Noir, okay?
you took me to France.
I know I did.
Yeah, we went all over the
We're
place.
going to talk about that.
Wait, hold
And
on.
when we
Is
were in
France
We'll always
a
have-
euphemism?
We'll always have Paris, Greg.
And we went to Paris. And when I was there, myself
Oh my
and
God.
Amanda, our little friend, we went over to the Jardin des Plantes. That's the like the natural, Jardin des Plantes. It's a garden of plants.
Jardin des Plantes.
Jardin des
Blah, blah, blah.
Plantes.
By Dior.
And it's like,
Yeah.
God, and it's like the natural history museum or something. Anyway, we tracked all through there. I got great video. I was going to put it all together and everything. Anyway, we got over there and we were going to go see the skull. They have the skull of the Beast of Jovadan there. Yeah. And we were going to go there and it closed at 5:00. And so we showed up at 4:16 and they don't let any more ticket holders in past 4:15.
It's wrong.
And it was our last day in France.
Well, we could always go back to France.
Oh, I'm going back.
Could I just share that when Greg mentioned the Virgin Mary, I heard voices other than myself kind of moan a little bit.
You did not.
I did.
Eric,
Roll the
you've
tape.
got a story. Let's go to rock and roll, shall we? We've got a couple of rockin' tales to go.
My
out on.
favorite
Rockin'
stories
tales.
about rock and roll, right? And this one,
right.
this one, and one of the greatest names in rock history, Geezer
Oh, yeah.
Butler from Black Sabbath.
That's right.
So Black Sabbath was formed in Birmingham,
Who's
not
that guy?
Birmingham, Birmingham,
Right.
I mean,
England, in 1968. Oh
Yes.
my God! The original lineup consisted of Ozzy Osbourne on vocals, Tony Iommi on guitar, Geezer Butler on bass, and Bill Ward. That's how it's spelled.
Lap of
now.
the best. Yeah.
Listen,
on the bash.
in England, that's how they say bass.
Yes.
And Bill Ward on drums. The band's music was heavily influenced by, some may think Satan, but it was truly by the blues and jazz, as well as the occult and horror films at times, let's be honest. But they also pioneered heavy metal music. Contrary to popular belief, Black Sabbath's music was not a celebration of Satanism. Instead, it warned against the dangers of dabbling in the occult and practicing black magic. The band members themselves stated simply they were not interested in Satanism or the occult. However, in a recent interview, bassist Geezer Butler revealed that their music was a warning against the dangers of black magic and Satanism.
Warning.
He said his family are strict Irish Catholics, and he totally believed in the devil. I started reading books by Aleister Crowley and Dennis Wheatley, especially. I sound like Greg the way I spoke that. I took one word.
Special
Lee.
I thought you were getting all like beat poet on me there. Special Lee.
Geezer Butler does look like a beat poet, especially The Devil Rides Out, which was meant to be a cautionary tale, but which read more like a handbook on how to be a Satanist. This one time, Geezer shared, this is a great anecdote. Ozzy gave me this 16th century book about magic that he'd stolen from somewhere. I'd put it in an airing cupboard, which I'd never heard of before, an airing cupboard, because I wasn't sure about it. Later that night, I woke up and saw this black shadow at the end of my bed. It was a horrible presence that frightened the life out of me. I ran to the airing cupboard to throw the book out, but lo and behold, the book had disappeared.
Dun, dun, dun.
Geezer went on to say there was some black magic organization that wanted us to play at a stone circle once. We said no, so they allegedly, and we have to say that, cursed us.
Wow.
I remember coming back from our first American tour, and I had kidney stones. Things were going really wrong. My aunt and uncle had both passed away. My mom was having a nervous breakdown, and I associated all of these bad vibes from stuff that I was getting into. So I turned 180 degrees away from it all and started trying to put out more positive energy, i.e., like the paranormal detective. Geezer said that.
Geezer.
Yeah.
Ian Geezer.
Geezer finished with saying, the head of the White Witches called our management team and said he knew we had put a curse on us.
Wow. What was
Who
that?
just yawned? Who yawned?
That wasn't me.
I was yawning during my own story. So
Yeah.
Hey,
And
I say Geezer
Did I
take
finish
the
my
wheel.
story?
Yeah, Geezer
Yes,
take
please
the wheel.
finish.
All right, good. And we should wear crosses, and he would do a religious ritual thing. So yeah, that's why we started wearing crosses. Ozzy's father actually made them for us. He worked at a metal factory making car parts, so he made these great big crosses out of spare metal. Black Sabbath was not a satanic band, but rather a group of musicians who used horror imagery to warn against the dangers of black magic and Satanism. Their legacy continues to inspire and influence artists in the heavy metal genre, and their message of caution against blindly following dogma. Oh, see how they did that? They weaved in blind dog into blindly following dogma. Remains so relevant today as when they first formed over 50 freaking years ago.
That was a great story, Eric. That was
Thanks,
a
Greg.
great
Appreciate
story.
it. That was for you.
So Eric, question.
Yeah, I'd love to answer one.
Where did Black Sabbath get their name from?
They began on the seventh day, which is the Sabbath, and all of the members were black.
I don't believe that to be true.
Is that not correct?
That's what I read.
No, no.
I think that's true.
No.
We can have them on, Dave. We could ask them.
Or I did hear that they got the name from an old Boris Karloff horror film called Black Sabbath.
Oh,
let's vote on that. Put that in the comments. Which you want to vote on? Who's right, Marty or me?
There's a lot of comments right now. I just don't want to comment.
Yeah, no, they're not good. They're not good. Let's Marty, you're up. You've got a story.
Hey, Marty.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready, Marty.
You know, again, me and Eric got together earlier today.
We talk a lot.
That would be Eric and I.
Eric and I. We decided to go on a theme again. So my theme's going to continue on with the rock and roll theme.
Yeah.
So Joe Wood thinks she may have been abducted by aliens.
Joe Wood, that was the guitar player from the Eagles, Joe Wood.
Exactly. Yeah. How'd you know?
Wrong again, Dave?
Actually, it's a different Joe Wood. Yeah. The 68-year-old model, who is the former wife of Rolling Stones rocker Ronnie Wood.
Oh.
Yeah. Believes in extraterrestrials. Yeah. And has considered the possibility that she may have been captured by aliens in the past. Speaking to the Daily Star newspaper, Joe said, I wouldn't be surprised if I've been abducted by aliens, but had my memory wiped. Yeah. I often have dreams of me floating and flying just by myself and getting higher and higher. Maybe that was me being abducted and beamed down. Joe claims to have had her first alien sighting in Brazil, when Ronnie alerted her by shouting, "Come and see, there's something in the sky." Joe explained out over the sea was a thing with lights reflecting on the water. It lifted, went to the right, and shot across the sky at a speed that was unbelievable. I was like, I've just seen a UFO. That got me obsessed by all things alien. I suddenly realized we are not alone. I think there are good guys and bad guys. The good guys just like to look at Earth, at planet Earth, because it's so beautiful. Then there's the bad guys, and who knows what they want to do to us. So, yeah, I'm glad that's not the last story, because it's
underwhelming.
Looking at
Underwhelming
those
is the word.
sky.
Yeah, underwhelming.
I've actually reached out to Joe Wood to invite her to be a part of the show to share some of her UFO stories.
Really?
She actually had a podcast on UFOs for a while.
I think I remember reading
Makes sense.
Yeah. Now, Greg Lawson apparently talked to Marty and Chachi today because he too brought a rock and roll paranormal story
on
to
top
us.
of it.
Well,
today.
and the crazy part about this is I have personal experience with one of these gentlemen. Yeah. Yeah.
Are you about to admit you lost your virginity to a member of YES?
Groupie? Are we going to hear a groupie
Miller
story here? Miller.
Dave got that. I don't know who else, but Dave got it.
Look at Greg. Brilliant.
So anyway, I'll move on. Ex-YES vocalist Jon Anderson says his former bandmates have visited him in his dreams after their deaths. That's right. I'm writing a book about that right now. Believe it or not, gentlemen.
Former
YES.
I don't believe it.
Lead singer Jon Anderson.
Former YES vocalist Jon Anderson says that he was visited by his estranged bandmate Chris Squire in a dream after the bassist's death. Yeah, in what he interpreted as a reconciliation of sorts. In the course of the interview, Anderson is asked if he had the opportunity to make peace with Squire before the bassist's death, right, in 2015. He says, he came and visited me after he passed away, Anderson replies. I was in Maui with my wife, Jane, on holiday, and I had this beautiful dream. There was a lot of people around in my dream. To my left, I could see this one lady standing there with robes. She looked like an angel, and she probably was. She pointed up at the sky, and there, Chris, smiling with tears coming down in his eyes and face. I woke up from the dream, and I told my wife, I said, I just saw Chris. He was heading toward the light of heaven. She said, he loved you. And I said, yeah, we were brothers. It was an incredible moment. Yep. Anderson then continued to say, a couple of months later, I was doing a show in Phoenix and I met Chris's widow, Scotland. And I told her the story. She told me he kept saying before he passed that he wanted to go to Maui. There you go. So that's pretty bizarre, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, the writer Andy Green then asked, but did you actually speak with him before he died? And Anderson said, I didn't need to. He had his life to live. I had my life to live. I actually had a great dream about Alan White, who passed away on in May 26 of last year. And it was a lovely dream, he said. He said he was with all the guys in the band, not just one or two, but everybody was there in the band. They were all doing some gig or something. Anyway, yeah, that was a cool thing. And I think that's where a lot of the spirit realm is. Well, the spirit realm is.
That's what a spirit realm is.
Spirit realm is. And yeah, I took a flight with Alan White and Gigi, and we went to England in 1994.
1920.
1994. Yeah, I was on a flight with Alan and Gigi. Yeah, sit right beside me. It's awesome.
That's cool. Very cool.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that was normally going to be our last story, but before,
I wonder why there was a dead thing.
Before
nobody cared about my story.
Greg, just before
jump in, there was a news story that broke that I had to share this. And Eric, I especially knew your fascination with this. I knew this was going to be important.
I forwarded you the tweet like during the show.
Yeah. This is pretty amazing. The James Webb Telescope just took a truly incredible photo of Uranus. Recently, Eric, the team behind the James Webb Telescope released its images of Uranus. And I'm the first to admit they're stunning.
Thank you.
Stunning. And it turns out, Eric, Uranus has been an oddball for a lot longer than we've been looking at it. See, there are a number of interesting features, including a transient polar cap that seems to appear in the summer and disappear in the winter. We don't know yet what causes that area to brighten and dim the way it does, but researchers are hoping the new data that the Webb has collected, along with the new images, will provide a bit of insight into the phenomenon. Now, additionally, we've been given an incredibly clear glance at 11 of Uranus's 13 rings, Eric, which vary in brightness from ring to ring so much that it's often difficult to distinguish one from the other. To get 11 on full display right off the bat is impressive.
Come on, Dave. This is serious stuff here. Let's hold it together, please.
Dave, do you want me to tell the story?
And researchers believe future imaging will reveal the other two in short order. So, Eric, you have to be excited about the deeper probing they're going to be doing of Uranus.
Yeah.
That is some big news.
Hey, Dave, can I ask a quick question?
Let me try finishing
let
the story. Okay, go ahead, Marty. All right, go ahead.
So I'm trying to get this all wrapped up in my head. So what they're doing is the telescope allowed them to, in some way, whiten Uranus so that it's much lighter now. Okay, just making sure.
Yeah,
they've been working on it for years, Marty.
Known as space bleaching.
Yeah, very interesting. Right. Eric, this this next bit should come as no surprise. There's actually been an uptick in interest in Uranus recently.
Of course.
So this is seventh
What happened
grade.
to Dave?
And one of the targets.
He's so moved by this story. He's crying.
I am. It's a powerful story. One of the targets singled out for deep study in the next decade was Uranus. As a result, there are now plans in the works to send a flagship mission called Uranus Orbiter and Probe sometime in the near future to study Uranus more deeply than ever so they can understand the dark spot on Uranus, Eric. It's baffling everybody that looks at Uranus.
I've wondered for years.
They cannot figure out what that dark spot is.
They're going to need to get real close. It may require, and I don't know how to listen. Sometimes when you look at something, any of us that have children,
you know, I spoke about the Paranormal 60 at History, Haunts, and Legends in Jefferson, Texas, and I want to apologize for
hey man,
yeah,
for what? Because we speak the
scientific truth. Is that
this is a NASA article?
The whitening of Uranus is kind of important here.
No doubt. We're not the first ones to think that either.
Yeah. Good stuff, Dave. Good stuff.
I don't care how old I'll ever be. Stories about Uranus, Eric, are going to always make me laugh.
You got to float to the top, aren't they?
They are.
Listen,
they really are. Especially when you see this Uranus is a dark spot.
Dave,
you tell me that NASA's not screwing with us.
Dave,
these are scientists spending billions of American dollars.
They're tricking us.
And there are like 8 other planets, and they just can't get out of Uranus.
Yeah.
The Earth is flat, and that's what I don't understand is why everybody is so confused about this whole thing.
Dave, when you and I were in Vegas on a personal brocation together, right?
Which I didn't go on.
Personal. You went to France.
You know what?
Don't forget that.
Truth. He was not on that. Truth. Okay,
I remember you telling me about the brown spot on Uranus.
I said the dark spot.
It's not the brown spot.
Good God, that's it, folks. We hope you enjoyed the show tonight. Make sure to go see Renfield. It opens nationwide April 14th. Oh, good Lord. Oh, that story just earned this.
Dumbest news of the day.
Stay safe. We love you. Come back Monday. It is Easter Monday. We're going to be talking about resurrection in a whole new way right here on the Paranormal 60.
60 zone. It's just for paranormal freaks like me, with poltergeist and ghosts and blues and UAPs. You miss a word, you do a shot. It starts to snowball and we laugh a lot. It's just like drinking with your TV friends. I'll be passed out before tonight's show ends. Dreaming the aliens are taking me away. I won't wake up the song I played on Saturday. It's Friday night and I'm alone. The paranormal 60s on. Schrader's on. Schrader's on. Schrader's on. Chachi and the Colonel and the paranormal detective always trade his copy and they all will be corrected. He's got protective bracelets and some crazy magic tricks. Even Scully cannot save him from the voice of Stevie Nicks. Schrader's on. Schrader's on. Friday night, don't be alone. The paranormal 60s on. Now one day Dave might even put me on his show. There's a ghost in my mom's basement and I live down there, I know. It's Friday night, don't be alone. The paranormal 60s on. Schrader's on. Words is hard.
This is the Paranormal 60, where probing Uranus